Well, welcome to our latest reflections in running, and so much to talk about. I've actually just come in to the studio now on the back of the Dante Stakes at York, which I'll end off this reflections in running and tell you what I think. But let's first of all talk about the Victoria Cup at Ascot on Saturday, where the majority of the runners, the first five home, came from miles off the pace. And I do think they're slightly flattered. I thought it was a good win by the a very nicely bred speculative bid. But I think he was flattered a wee bit because those out in front had the wind in their faces and those in behind were to a certain extent just about sheltered from that. So yes, the form looks strong and the winner should go on to better things, but I want you to put in your notebook four horses that came in behind. Seventh, Zarwan, who was free going all the way, was always in the first four until he fell back to seventh. Susie's Connoisseur, who ran really well. We know acts on this track well, ran well in the Britannia last year, could come back for the Hunt Cup if given a more patient ride, hit the front 2 furlongs out and looked one of the more likely winners, finished 8th. Big Baz, who was always prominent on the outside, he's finished 10th. And Outback Traveller, who ran way too freely, 17th. Well, you can write that run off, there will be another time for him. So Zarwan, Susie's Connoisseur, Big Baz, Outback Traveller are the four to take from the Victoria Cup for me. Piece of news from Chester. Derby trial's not brilliant, but as soon as Hans Holbein won the Chester Vase, I backed him for the St Ledger. He's a pure galloper, both sides of the pedigree, loads of stamina, and I think even this very early stage in the season, he's a 3-year-old that the further he goes, the better he's going to become, and he is at the moment the first horse in my profile, my betting profile for the St Ledger, Hans Holbein. Polar Eyes ran well in a handicap behind Mika Micah on the Thursday at Chester, but he had to circle the field all the way around. He had to run very, very wide. He's a horse I think can win off his current mark of 8.080. Alex My Boy is a horse we talked about last season. He's moved from Mark Johnston to Andres Vuller, and he won just under a couple of weeks ago a really good Group 3 at Longchamp over 1 mile and 6 furlongs. Now, I know Alex My Boy is being aimed at the Ascot Gold Cup. You'd have seen in my Ascot Gold Cup column, I've already backed him each way at 66 to 1 and 80 odd on Betfair. He doesn't need slow ground, good ground's good enough, and I know if the ground isn't rattling fast, that Alex My Boy, the aim is the Ascot Gold Cup. So go and read my anti-post column and tell me what you think as well. And finally, on to the Dante Stakes. And you got the feeling in the interview afterwards, I don't know whether you heard it, whether you saw it, that John Gosden wants to run Golden Hall in the Epsom Derby. His owner has apparently said that he thinks he's a 1.25 mile horse, but not on that run. He'll stay 1.5 miles, and he's a beautiful athlete, very well balanced, so the hill shouldn't be a problem. I almost thought that maybe Jack Hobbs would perhaps switch them around. He'd go for the French Derby and Golden Horn for the English Derby. Elm Park has run a really good race for his first race of his 3-year-old campaign, and he'll certainly get 1.5 miles. You just get the feeling he wants a bit of give in the ground, and we very rarely get that in the first week in June at the Epsom Derby meeting. So at this stage, if he's confirmed to run, I think Golden Horn should be favoured for the Epsom Derby, and I'd be quite happy to back him at anything between 3 and 4 to 1. But if there's one horse to take away from the last fortnight for reflections in running, it's Alex My Boy. Go and read my Ascot Gold Cup column. I think he's being laid out for this, and he's still a very big price indeed.